Good afternoon and welcome to Pickett, Wisconsin, even though the weather widget says Rosendale. On this 24th day of April, it says I think about 61, 62 degrees. Feels wonderful out here. A little bit of a wind, but it's a fantastic day for running an engine. And actually, without bright sunlight, it really is good lighting conditions, so I can have different backgrounds and not have to worry about the sun. But anyway, that's something you're not interested in. So today's engine run is actually going to be dedicated to my friend in Germany, Uwe, and I'll explain why here in a few minutes. But I've got my new never run HP 20 Gold Cup engine here. Now, this was given to me by a fellow on eBay, awesome guy, and he says he believes that it was never run before. And I don't know, we'll find out. And honestly, I don't know if this is the Mikoa version of the engine, because I believe they still are making them, or if it's the Austrian version. All I know is it's got a Perry carb on it and a Fox muffler that's painted black, and it's got a 9.4 Zinger prop on it, and the plug that came with it looks to be like a CAN-B plug, like Mikoa would recommend running with this. So the reason I'm dedicating this to you, Uwe, is because I'm actually going to do something I said I wasn't ever going to do, which was run this Motul synthetic fuel again. So I've got, my fuel I'm running here is an 85 15% FAI blend, just methanol and that Motul synthetic fuel, plus the fact that you're really into smaller engines anyway, so that's what we're running today. Let's just fire it up and see how she does for the first time. So the kicker I think I have to do is I have to just make sure that I don't lean this thing out, because I've heard some bad things about this synthetic oil and running engines lean. So I think I might need to kind of treat this as a break-in run, but this is an ABC engine. It's not a ringed one, so it should come up to speed pretty quickly, and let's just see what happens with it. I don't know if I want to try to hand start this thing. I might try giving it a couple of flips that way. But then again, as you can see, this is the new Ron Sexton test stand. Yeah, she's definitely wet. Let's see if we can get a hand start out of this. And there you go, your silly little Well, hopefully we can get it started. I don't think it's flooded. I was having some issues with this nice starter. Hopefully that's not the case. Let's try this side of this thing. Hopefully we'll get a run out of this. I think I'm going to have to check my nice starter here real quick and see if it's any good. These are new cells that I bought, put in these things, and for the life of me they just don't seem to hold a charge at all, which really kind of sucks. I may have to go back to buying a nice McDaniel nice starter. This thing's really, really weak. I don't know if I've got anything else that's any better. Actually, this did just show a nice little glow. That's got charge on it. I don't know why that was looking like that. For some reason, don't believe my starter wants to turn that thing over. This is one of those metered starters. It was showing good there. Now I've destroyed that prop. Well, crap. Not only that, I've destroyed the prop, so I'm going to have to abort this. Okay, let's try this again. I had to change to a 10.6 prop, and it appears that I did flood the little fella. So I blew that all out, and let's see if this knife starter and charger, or starter, are going to want to cooperate. Feels like it's bumping. I felt a bump. See an awful lot of fuel coming out in that carb. Interesting. Did I mention this is a Perry carb? That's weird. I don't know what the hell is going on with this thing. I had this 2.5 turns open from fully closed. That should have been a good setting. This mid-range is way too lean, way too rich. The disc wasn't quite set at the center notch there, but on my blow test it seemed fine. lot of fuel coming out of that thing. Which way is plus and minus on this thing? I'm going to turn it this way. Let me do a test this way. Well, I see bubbles coming out from this carb area here, first of all, as I'm blowing through it here. Did I mention this is a pericarb? This thing just, okay, well, so there's one issue right there, is my fuel line here sucks. Let's get a new fuel line. I saw cracks in that line. Let's eliminate that as a problem. I remember to turn the camera on. Well, I don't think this engine sucks. I think this carb sucks. Because it should be set pretty decent if this notch lines up with the center line there. It should be like the neutral setting, but the hell with that. That didn't work in here at all. So this is closed. Let's do 1, 2. Turn this thing. And see, that's the thing with these pericarbs. You really can't adjust these things in when it's running for danger of cutting your finger. When I go from low throttle to mid throttle, I can just see tons of fuel just flying out of there. It's just throwing it out. Did I mention this is a pericarb? Yes, 5 times. it running decent. I mean, the thing's pretty warm, but God, you know, I'm just thinking about saying the hell with this engine, the hell with this run, or the hell with this carb, because this shit sucks. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. The throttle arm, I've got this pericarb angled back a little bit so that my fingers are not as close to the prop. And the throttle arm is so long on it that it's hitting the side of the case here, and it's causing it to bind up to go from like 3/4 to full throttle, and that's not helping matters. So I mean, I could loosen this thing up and twist it some, but man, then I really can't adjust too much there on that high speed, because it's just... Alright, I think I've had about enough of this. We're going to end this one here. Okay, so I know that was a very long video and it was only somewhat productive. But, you know, sometimes things just don't always go according to plan. So, I think that this engine is a fine engine. I think the carb completely sucks on it. Because at the last segment there, when I was just pulling it all the way down to where I've got the throttle stop screw set, the minimum idle speed, it was going to 2400 RPM. It would slowly go down there and then it would stay, and then when I put the igniter on it, you'd see the RPM rise slightly. So it tells me that it's still slightly rich on that low end, and then when I'd advance it, it took a while for it to catch up. So that's clearly a carb issue. And I've got this notch on this low speed disc way off of where the center part is, so it's almost practically closed. So there's just something not right with this carb, especially since when I was blowing from here through here, I could see bubbles here. So this carb is a piece of crap as far as I'm concerned. You know, others may disagree, but I don't really care. These batteries that I've got in these are a piece of crap because they've been sitting on charge. I got these Tenergy cells, 3800 milliamp hour battery, and they were supposedly fully charged, and they don't hold a charge, or it's some kind of deficiency in these holders here. Now this one luckily had the meter on there so I could kind of see it, but the meter would bounce between red and green based on how I did that, so it's almost like it's either dirty, which it doesn't look dirty at all, it's just got crappy connection. So with all that said, I think I'm just going to have to invest in some real knife starters again from Sonictronics, get the McDaniel knife starters that go in lock on there. I like these because some plugs you really have to be able to do this with to grip on there. Some plugs don't like the McDaniel twist locks, but those batteries are really good and they work. And those, I've got one in here that it just hasn't been charged because it's really old. It's like 7 or 8 years old. But those are really good. But I mean, I think that this engine has real potential, and hopefully I didn't kill it with this non-caster synthetic fuel and how this run turned out. But initially I had it overprimed, big time. No surprise, because the low speed was so whacked out that no wonder it was overprimed. Of course, I just overprimed it, but that's why it wouldn't start and why it was tough to get turned over. Now it feels a lot smoother. But I mean, hopefully I didn't destroy the engine with this synthetic fuel and running it the way it was. I don't know what it should be turning with a 10.6, because that's what's on here now. My 9.5 or whatever, 9.4 I had on there to begin with, I broke, sheared or chipped it out here trying to flip start it. So not all runs go great. This one was all right. The best part of this run was this stand worked really well, which I figured it would for a small engine. No issues whatsoever with the Ron Sexton test stand on this run. But if you stayed with me through all the way through this into this video, hopefully you learned something, and you probably learned that I really frickin' dislike Perry carbs. And so I'll be looking for a different carb for this engine. So if anybody's got one, contact me, because that thing is going in the friggin' garbage. And that's the run for today.